a thread response for DJ Trish. Hi, welcome to Garage Geek. So DJ Trish put out a thread, and this is my response. Sorry, DJ Trish, for taking so long. It's just been kind of busy, but I'm jumping on now. DJ Trish is talking about CDs. You know, some people in the vinyl community don't necessarily collect vinyl, and that is totally fine, in my opinion. So she wants to talk about CDs, and I certainly have plenty of those. I am going to be focusing on more recent CDs that I've purchased, just because I have so many of my CDs in boxes and I need to arrange them, and they're kind of blocked on my shelves. So that's just a personal issue that I need to work through. Her first thread, what do I say? Her first thing that you need to show, I'm just going to say her first tag. Let me just say her first tag is shout out 3 or more VC channels that inspired you to purchase some recent CDs, or any CDs. I say recent. Many of you inspire me, but I don't often use those inspirations to buy things. I usually make Spotify lists and I listen that way. And then if I'm ever out in the wild and I come across something cheap, I will definitely buy it then. But I'm going to talk about 3. The first one, which I mentioned recently, is Channel 33 RPM showed this and 1 or 2 others that he got in the mail, and he was really happy with these. And I have a small collection of these, and that kind of got me wanting to get more for my collection. So I can thank you, Channel 33 RPM. So this is Status Quo, and these are vinyl replicas. And I know I've shown these a few times. Is my CD in here? Yes, because I have Rare Earth in. So they come in the sleeves, and they look like little records. They're so cute. Okay, so that was 33 RPM. T-Cat's Deep Vinyl Tracks has been doing a series on King Crimson, and I already had this one, but when I saw it, I had to buy it, because these are vinyl replicas, and they are so gorgeous. This is like the 3rd time I'm showing this one. But I didn't have these 2, and I don't know them. He recently did this one, and I'm very curious to start listening to it. So when I saw it in the vinyl replica format, I really wanted it. And then this is another one that gets high praise, so I really do need to listen to these 2. And the last one I'm going to talk about is I just purchased, again, because of a contest that I won with MGK Boston, I actually bought these. But when I was buying this, I chose this because of Cosmic Vinyl, because this just looks like something that Brian would review, and it's 60s and it's psych, and I'm glad I did, because it's a very interesting album. I'm still listening to it, getting used to it. Okay, I could shout out so many other channels, but those directly influenced my purchases very recently. Okay, so name a genre that I would like to see discussed more, or I just don't see discussed enough in the vinyl community. I'm going to name 2. I know they're unpopular, but the first is going to be opera and classical. Most people that I come across don't buy these things, or if they do, they don't discuss them. And I wonder why, because the musicianship involved in these and the talent necessary to produce these are amazing. I don't know, like, people generally gravitate to rock and modern rock and you know, heavy music, but this has a place. I'm eclectic. I like all different kinds of music, so I don't know why that this kind of music is just ignored, or maybe I'm just not finding the right channels. Another genre, I'm only supposed to mention one, but another genre of music that people look down on is he's not a singer-songwriter, he's basically interpreter of song. Okay, someone like Michael Feinstein, or maybe to a certain extent, you know, there's so many, but like Linda Ronstadt did that a lot. I don't know, there's just so many people. Like this one I picked up recently, so this is another person who I haven't listened to it yet, but does interpret classics and standards and popular songs. Another one, for example, I just showed this under opera, but this one is definitely opera because it's Verdi and Puccini. But here, Kira Takanawa is singing Gershwin. So that is a more, not really classical in a sense, it can be, but that is more popular songs. Next, show a mixed tape. Now, I don't have many mixed tapes left, but I have this one, and I looked through the song titles, and they're pretty funny. The worst one on here is there's an actual Mariah Carey song on here, and it's Oh Holy Night. Now, I've let it be known that I really like her Christmas album. I even have the Funko Pop up there. But yeah, to find that on a mixtape is pretty funny. I'm just going to name some of the songs, some of the artists. I've got the Cranberries, Pink Floyd, UB40, Collective Soul, 3 different Sinead O'Connor songs, Brenda Lee, Arif Lohar, who is, I think, a Pakistani singer, Pat Benatar, Dean Martin, Enigma, Vanessa Williams, Crash Test Dummies, Tracy Chapman, Patsy Cline, Dead Can Dance. It's all over the place, but that's what a mixed CD or tape should be. So she asks, what brands of mixed CDs and tapes would you buy, like blank ones? And I think I always bought the Maxells, and this one is even a Maxell. And the CDs, I still buy them. I think we buy the Sony ones. And then, do you have any mixed CDs? And of course, I haven't had a ton of mixed CDs. I have a bunch in the car. But of course, I have the ones that DJ Trish just sent me for Christmas. So I have these 2. So thank you, DJ Trish. They're awesome, and I really enjoy them. But yeah, I've made so many of them, and they're in my car. I keep them in the car in the little carrying cases. Show 2 or more jazz CDs. Now, I actually dabble in jazz. I'm not like huge into jazz, but I certainly pick up the jazz CDs when I find them cheap. But recently, I got these 2, and so I'm looking forward to jumping into these. And yeah, these are the vinyl replicas. So I've got Dave Brubeck's Time Out, Take 5, and then Count Basie in London. So I'm looking forward to diving into those. 3 music stores where you buy music. So of course I go to Amoeba. It's a huge store in Los Angeles. But I want to focus on the 3 record stores that are near me and pretty much near me in my neighborhood. 2 are like right down the street. And then 1 is about a 10-minute drive in Pasadena. So the first one is Gimme Gimme Records. This is a small music shop that I just love going to. And my husband and I always go there for record store day. We line up. Then recently there's, it was like right around the corner. It's called On Marine Records. And it's a very small record shop. And then there's a store in Pasadena right next to Target. So whenever we go to Target, I try to go right next to it. And that is called Canterbury Records. Online place to buy CDs. This one is like a no-brainer. I don't even think there's, it's Amazon. I don't know of another place to buy CDs. Like, many stores do have online buying options, but I just, for the most part, frequent Amazon. Maybe eBay for used ones. What inspires you to make a mixed CD? So I'm going to change this a little bit. So recently, I don't make that many mixed CDs. I used to make a lot of mixed tapes. Used to make a lot of mixed CDs. But now I just make Spotify playlists. And what inspires me to do that are the people in YouTube. So, for example, I just went ahead and made like 10 playlists based off of recommendations that people made for their best of 2022. And I know that those are going to keep me busy for a long time, because not only do I listen to CDs and, things on Spotify, but I'm also going to be listening to those lists. And my goal is, once I become familiar with the music on those lists, I always reach out to the person who made those, and I tell them which songs or tracks I liked the most. And there's my dog. So do you think CDs and tapes are on a comeback? I do. I don't know to what extent. I just think digital has taken over. But I do see a lot of people starting to collect cassettes again, and especially newer cassettes. A lot of bands will put out their music on cassette. People are getting them as collectibles. They're limited runs. I'm not a fan of anything where you have to order it in advance. And that's one frustration I have with many Funko Pops. If you don't, get it in advance or right when it comes out, get right online. I'm just not a fan of that, because it's just like, too stressful for me, and it becomes very expensive. So that's not the type of collector I am. I always go after things, for the most part, that are used or I can get them cheap. So I do believe they're on a comeback. I just don't know to the extent that digital. I just think digital has taken over. So there are my responses to DJ Trish's CD thread for 2023. I want to thank you for your support, and I will leave a link to DJ Trish's original video in my description. Well, sorry, when we were talking about mixed CDs, I forgot to say that I am a fan of CDs that are various artists that are compiled on discs. I really like those, especially in new genres, especially world music. I like the Putumayo series. I really like those. I'm also a fan of these late night CD series. They're also on vinyl, where one artist curates the music. So I have a bunch of these, and I'm just a big fan of this series.